Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm squatting down in front of my wood pile because we are going to make a DIY grow light shelving system. Really want to make a grow light system so I can get my seeds started this year, so I can have beautiful flowers and veggies to feed my family all year round. It's cold out here. The great thing about this project is after your seeds get started, you can turn the shelving system into a bookcase, garage storage, or anything that you'd like. But if you can't get your hands on scrap wood, you can always go to Home Depot, your local lumber yard, or even if you have a mill nearby, that will probably be your cheapest option. But if you don't want to build your own shelving system, I'm going to show you two options that are really great if you just want to buy a prefabricated thing that's already made. All right, let's head inside because it's pretty cold out here and I think it's starting to snow. But if you like videos like this, please like and subscribe and join the Whitney fam. Jackson. Good boy. I'm so cold, my lips are blue. There's a really great shelving system from IKEA from the Ivar collection. I have a ton of them around my house with books on them already. The only reason that this system wouldn't work for me is because I need a 4-foot shelf because my lights are 4 feet. If you're going to use lights that are not 4 feet long, then this system might really work for you. This is an end piece to one of the Ivar IKEA bookshelf systems. These come unstained. This is just one coat of early American stain, which I love, and they look really, really, really nice with a coat of your favorite stain on them. The design detail that I will be implementing from IKEA's design into my design is by building 2 independent sides and then connecting them along the back. Now, IKEA's version has this little, we're gonna call it a strapping piece because I don't really know what it's called. I'm not a professional woodworker and I don't really want to spend the time on putting a little strap in the middle of a corner piece. So what I'm gonna do is cut strapping that will go along the whole back to connect these two together. I'm also going to be implementing some peg holes along the insides of both of the corner pieces so I can raise and lower my shelves as my plants grow. When you buy the Ivar bookcase system from IKEA, they come with these little pegs right here, and I happen to have a lot of these on hand. If you can't get a hold of these pegs, you can always use a wooden dowel, but just make sure that you use the correct corresponding drill bit for your wooden dowel size and you'll be fine. The next best option is one of those metal wire racks you can buy from Home Depot, from Amazon, from probably Walmart. I have one in my garage with all of my tools and just garage junk on it. This one is only about 3 feet wide. They do sell ones that are 4 feet and they're really sturdy. You can adjust the height of the shelves by these little clippy things. They kind of snap right into the grooves along the side. You can get a 4-foot wide one. I think there's a cheap one on Amazon for about 60 bucks. There's one at Home Depot for about 90 bucks. I was considering buying the metal shelving unit from Amazon, but you guys saw I have a ton of wood back there and I decided to be a little bit more sustainable and make my own with the materials that I already had. If you are using scrap wood, make sure that you look through to take out all of your nails because you don't want to chop through them with your miter saw. Now I am making mine 5.5 feet. These were originally 6-foot sections and I needed to cut the ends off, so 5.5 feet will be perfect. I will be having 12-inch deep shelves and they're going to be sitting inside of these 2 corner pieces. So for your strapping, you're going to need to include the depth of each of your corner pieces to make sure it can brace the whole 2 sides. Make sure you wear your glasses. Here's all of my wood pieces cut. So you're gonna need 4 corner pieces. I did mine 5.5 feet tall. 4 back bracing pieces. This is what's gonna brace the 2 sides together. And then 8 little strapping pieces for the sides. The next thing that I need to do is drill my holes for my little pegs. If you are using wooden dowels, make sure that you have a drill bit that is the same size as your wooden dowel and do a little pre-test on a scrap piece of wood so you make sure that your hole will match the dowel or the peg that you are using. A little trick to make sure that you are drilling the right depth for your peg or your dowel is to add a little tape to the end of your drill bit. That way you will know where to stop when you're drilling in your hole. I'm going to mark out on each one of these corner pieces 3 inches apart so I can raise and lower the shelves as my plants are growing. When you're drilling, make sure you go straight down and not at an angle because that will make your shelf not sit straight. And then check your peg and it fits right in there just like a gem. Once you're done drilling all your holes, hit those bad boys with a little sanding block so you don't get any splinters. With your holes facing in towards each other, now it's time to attach our little strapping pieces. For the top and bottom strap, I'm just going to line them up with the bottom. And then for the middle two straps, I'm going to space them about 21.5 inches apart. So in order to do that, I'm gonna take my tape measure and measure up 21.5 inches from the bottom. To ensure that the strap will be in line, I'm gonna take my square and then mark a line so they will be even across. So I'm gonna go up 21.5 inches from that and then do the same thing. To attach these straps to the corner pieces, I will be using 2-inch finish nails. You can use screws if you'd like, but if you do use screws, make sure that you pre-drill your holes, or if you're using little wood like this, it'll split. Get this aligned, and it's better to have your strap farther up than farther down because you want the weight to be sitting on your corner pieces, not this strap. I'm just gonna do 2 in each side, and we should be good to go. That ain't going nowhere. Now let's do the rest of them. To attach the back support braces, I will be using these construction screws, but make sure that you have the right bit for special screws if you're using them. Honey, stop! I will be pre-drilling 2 holes on the ends of each of these back supports, so it's a little bit easier to connect them to the sides. All right, so I have my 2 sides set up on end, and this is the back brace. So we are just, I'm not gonna screw into this. I'm just gonna match up the back brace to the side brace and then screw those together with some 3-inch construction screws. Perfect. Please ignore my garage because it's really a mess. All right, now let's do the 2 middle ones and the other end one. So to put your pegs in, you might have to tap them in with a little hammer or a Wonder Bar. There you go. Perfect. Looking good. Now we are ready for the lights. This is the Barina 6-pack of LED T5 lights that I got off Amazon. These lights are very light. They feel a little flimsy, but I think they will do for my project. It comes with 6 power cords. It has a little toggle on and off switch, so you could light up each of these individually, or you can use these connectors to connect them to each other. So you can have 1 power cord. I'm not sure how many you can connect to each other. I think it might be up to 6, but for my project, I'm gonna use a connector to connect 2 of them to each other and then have an outlet for each set of 2. These are the brackets to screw them to your ceiling, but I will be screwing them to the underside of a shelf. And these are hardwire connections if you wanted to use them instead of the plug-in outlets. This is the piece of plywood I just cut from my shelf, and now it's time to attach our lights to it. So this is gonna be the bottom part. These lights are 46 inches long, and I cut my shelves to be 48 inches long. You're gonna have about 1 inch on either side for clearance of each of the light bulbs. So when we go to attach these light bulbs, remember that the shelves are going to be sitting on our pegs. So don't bring the lights all the way out to the edge. Bring them in just a little bit. I'm going to space mine about 6 inches apart from each other. Now let's talk about the bracket attachment. In this little packet you have 2 brackets with 2 screws. This is a connector. If you wanted to have 2 connected long ways, you could connect them with this little attachment. It slides right into the end, and then this one clips onto there. Now I'm not going to use this because I'm going to have mine sitting opposite each other. If you're not using this connector to connect the 2 or this plug-in power strip, then you can use this little plug to plug right into the end, so that's all capped off. But first things first, I'm gonna mount my lights to the bottom of this shelf, and then I will show you how I connect them to each other and to power. I'm not gonna put my bracket at the very, very end. I'm gonna come down just a little bit. So let's mark our holes for these little brackets. Since I'm gonna have my lights about 6 inches apart, the center line is around 2.5 inches from the edge. So I'm gonna go in 2.5 inches and then down 4 inches for my bracket. So that's 4 inches down, and here is 2.5 inches in, so right there. These screws are super tiny, the thread isn't very coarse, and they're really hard to get started in your plywood. So I'm just gonna take a very tiny drill bit and just drill a little starter hole. The side of these clips just to attach this little bevel, so we just snap it in there, and that's it. They're super secure. In order to connect these two together, you're just going to use one of these things, and super easy. You just plug it in there and then plug it in there. Bada bing! Those are connected, and now we just have to put power to it on the other side. So I have a power cord. I'm just going to plug this end into one of them. Now we're going to take a little end cappy and put that in here. Okay, now we're all wired up. Let's plug it in and see if it works. Yeah! If you don't want this little tail thingy sticking out past the end of your shelf, you can just turn it in and then use a staple gun to put like one staple here, but you guys saw my garage. I can't find anything in there. So we're gonna use something that is super duper unnecessary for this, but it will work. These are like not for this, but hey, hey. And here it is. I'm in the middle of remodeling my basement, so that Shakespeare bookcase will come out of there, and then this will just sit right back up against the wall. On the top shelf, I have all of my supplies. This shelf has quite a bit of space to give these guys some light. And here's one that I have spaced about 1 inch or 2 above where my seeds will be started. And down here, I have some pothos or philodendron, don't know what it is, that I'm trying to propagate. The front one's doing really well. I'm not sure if the other guys are gonna make it, but we'll see. And on the very bottom shelf, I have some bulbs that I've tried to overwinter that I will be planting in the spring, and just some extra pots. I'm sure this will fill up as time goes on. Thank you for watching, everybody, and please subscribe and ring that bell if you want to see some more home DIYs.